Welcome back to another episode of Mac Stories Unwind. Federico, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, John. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You know, it's a lot of fun just taking it easy here for the holidays, for the Thanksgiving holiday, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. But one of the big traditions in America and really worldwide now during the Thanksgiving season is Black Friday, which it's a good question. Why do they call it Black Friday? I'm not even really sure why it's called Black Friday. I'm sure somebody will tell me now on the internet why it's called Black Friday. But Black Friday, and then there's Cyber Monday, which is just such a terrible name. But it's basically biggest sales of the year from the Friday after Thanksgiving until the Monday afterwards. And I guess Cyber Monday was because people used to go to their office on Monday and buy stuff for Christmas and other winter holidays. But in any event, we are participating this year in Black Friday. We have a 20% off sale on some of the icon sets in the Mac Stories Pixel Collection. We've got the Shortcuts Icons Classic Collection, the Colored Collection, as well as the Perspectives Icons, which work really well with OmniFocus, but can be used for other things as well. All three sets of those are 20% off from Friday through Monday.
Yep, and the Shortcuts Icons Classic are exactly what I'm using for my custom Shortcuts icons on my home screens.
Yeah, I use them a lot too. I use them for all kinds of things. They work on things like a Steam Deck really well and other kinds of devices as well. But beyond the Mac Stories Pixel icon sets, we've also got a short-term sale on Club Mac Stories memberships. This is really to catch anybody who maybe procrastinated a little bit and missed our fall membership drive in October. You can still get 20% off either a Club Mac Stories Plus or a Club Premier membership. Not only are we doing annual memberships like we did in October, we're also discounting the monthlies. So, maybe you've been a Club Mac Stories member for a really long time and you're monthly, and you just want to try out Club Mac Stories Plus for a month or Club Premier for a month. You can do that at 20% off now. So, Federico, actually, I should correct myself because, although we consider this a Black Friday sale, it's actually available. If you're listening to this,
it's already online.
It's available right now. Everybody started Black Friday. It feels like a month ago. We're getting in on the deal a little bit early too. So as you listen to this, it is available right now. And it'll be available until Monday, the 27th. So that's the deal with our Black Friday sale. But let's dive into a Thanksgiving themed unplugged segment, Federico, because I thought that, we've talked about this a little bit. We've talked about holiday meals before, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Thanksgiving holiday and see if I can answer some of your questions.
Yes, I do have questions. I've long been wondering about a very specific thing that appears to be a tradition in America. I want to understand what's the deal with the President of the United States pardoning turkeys before each Thanksgiving.
That's a good question.
And specifically, I want to understand the concept of pardoning a turkey. Are there multiple turkeys that get an official pardon from the president? And how are the turkeys selected? If you're a turkey, how can you become eligible, I guess, for a presidential pardon? And what happens after? If you get the official pardon from the president, are you set free? What happens to you? Do you get a little medal? Do you get a little turkey medal? What's the deal with that?
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm sure some of this is top secret stuff that only the government knows. But
the government doesn't want to tell us, huh?
No, probably not. There's the big turkey lobby out there.
They don't want you to know.
They don't want you to know what really happens to these turkeys. But this is from what I looked at, and it is very timely that as we record this, President Biden just pardoned 2 turkeys yesterday on the 20th of November. And they're 2 big white turkeys. I think turkeys are a very ugly animal, to be honest with you.
They're not exactly pretty,
No. And you see them in the wild in the U.S. too, wild turkeys. And yes, and my experience with wild turkeys, that these are mean animals, mean critters. I mean, there was once a family of turkeys that lived on a golf course near where my old house was. And they would sometimes just go out into the road and they would attack the bumpers of cars. So cars were going really slow, trying not to run over these these turkeys, but then the turkeys would see their reflections in the bumpers of the cars, and they would attack the bumpers of the cars. It was kind of funny, but that's my wild turkey story. I've seen them in North Carolina too, so they're all around.
I'm watching the White House video. President Biden pardons the national Thanksgiving turkey. There's
Yes.
two of them, Liberty and Bell.
Yes.
Nice
Yes.
names.
Well, there is another story I read that there's a one called Dolly Parton.
I saw that. I saw Dolly Parton. That's perfect. I gotta tell you, these are not ugly birds. Poor turkeys. Look at all
the
these
blue
feathers.
heads.
The blue heads are a look. It's the amount of skin on the neck, I guess, that is quite unsightly. But I don't know. How is the turkey so calm? Do they sedate the turkeys?
They put him up on a
podium.
Question.
They put him up on a podium, and the turkey just. Actually, can turkeys fly?
They can.
No way.
Yeah, they can. They absolutely can. And I don't know. Maybe these are like pet turkeys. These are like from the petting zoo or something. I know that the turkeys this year came from Minnesota, Alex's part of the woods, quite literally, Minnesota being a state full of forests. But the turkeys came from a farm in Minnesota. And this tradition has been going on for like 47 years. It goes way back. And I think it all really came down to having these turkeys donated by like turkey lobbies or farmers back in the day to the White House for the White House Thanksgiving. And there being some sort of spectacle with, the Thanksgiving at the White House, and not wanting to kind of have to sell the death of these turkeys. So the presidents started pardoning them, and then it became like a whole shtick with a lot of puns like Dolly Parton and all of these other things. So now it's like it's an event, just like they light the Christmas tree at the White House in December. They will also pardon the turkeys in November. So it's just something that gets done all the time.
I found an article on a website called birdsandblooms.com. 6 fascinating bird facts about wild turkeys. Yeah. And there's a section that says a wild turkey is a faster bird than you think. Most of the time when we see turkeys, they're on the ground. It might come as a surprise to learn that they are capable of flight, and speedy flight at that. They often escape danger by running, but if they have to make a quick exit, John, they can fly up to 55 miles per hour.
There you go. It's like highway speeds right there. That's pretty good.
So the turkey gets pardoned, but you don't know what happens after that.
I do know that Wikipedia tells me that historically these pardoned turkeys don't seem to have a very long life after they've been pardoned.
Oh, no.
They tend to last maybe a year or so, which Wikipedia, I don't know where they get this. They say, for comparison, heritage turkey breeds have a lifespan on par with those of wild turkeys, at least 5 years. So these are domesticated turkeys that are grown on a farm that are for selling turkey for Thanksgiving. So maybe they don't last as long in that situation. I'm really, Federico, you're really stretching my knowledge. I'm not much of a turkey expert.
Sure. Speaking of that, have you gotten your turkey yet?
Well, you know what we did this year? We found a nice market not too far from where we live where we just ordered the whole thing pre-prepared.
Oh, so that's convenient. Okay.
Yeah, we got a big turkey breast coming with all the usual sides like stuffing, and I think we got some potatoes.
Sure.
We got a really nice pie for dessert and some rolls. And what else? We've got some other vegetables. I forget what they are. But we ordered it. Jennifer and I went last Saturday to a market and just ordered it all. And it was really easy. Actually, we went to the market, bought some groceries, picked up a brochure, and then went home and ordered it online. So we're picking it up. We're picking up on Thursday. Oh, here's another thing about Thanksgiving that's a bit of a tradition. A lot of people do a turkey trot, which is a little road race. They go out and they do a walk or a running race on Thanksgiving, and I'm doing a turkey trot on Thanksgiving with Jennifer and 2 of my kids.
Amazing.
Yeah.
More questions for you. So you do a Thanksgiving lunch right? You don't do...
Yeah, it's kind of, well, people do it at different times. We're going to do what we call it dinner, which is like lunch dinner. It's going to be like maybe middle of the afternoon.
Okay, so
two in the afternoon.
One meal for both, because there's a lot of food.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll just maybe have desserts kind of later, what would normally be more of a dinner time.
Are you going to have key lime pie?
No, we're not. We got a bananas Foster pie this year, which I thought looked really good.
Is it? My understanding is another tradition for Americans is to watch a football game with the family.
Yes, that's something. We are not big football fans,
You're
so
not.
we'll probably watch a movie. I mean, I've got a bunch of movies that I want to watch. We talked about this a little. It's coming up next week on App Stories. Some of the things we're doing over the holidays, and one of mine is to catch up on movies and TV shows. So we'll probably do some of that. We also got a pecan pie, I should tell you. I don't know if you've ever.
We talked
do you know
about
what a
this
pecan
before.
pie is?
Yeah, we talked about this before.
Yeah. So I really like pecan pies. I think they're fantastic. Jennifer's not as into them.
But eggnog is more of a Christmas thing.
It is, and not really my cup of tea, as they say. But yeah, that's more of a Christmas drink than it is Thanksgiving.
Okay, but before we go, let me quiz you on more things that I need to understand. Very very quick questions. Die Hard, holiday movie or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Christmas movie.
Interesting. Christmas tree, up before or after Thanksgiving?
After, although we may do it very shortly after, like the weekend after.
Okay. There was something else I wanted to know. Okay, yes. I've seen the videos of those crazy shoppers sort of like running into stores on Black Friday. Have you ever done that or seen that in real life?
I have not seen people run into stores or get trampled going into stores. I did wait many years ago now in line at a Best Buy with my brother-in-law to get a PC for one of his kids. And we got in line at like 5 a.m. to get in at like 8 or something like that. So I have done that once, very long time ago. And it was very cold. I don't do any of that stuff because you know what? I just do all my shopping online.
Okay. And lastly, from me, what are you thankful for?
I am thankful for all kinds of things, Federico. I think I'll stick to tech. I'm thankful for Club Mac Stories, is what I'm going to say, and all of our members and our Discord, because there are such nice people in there, and I've learned a lot from them. How about yourself?
You know what? Same. I'm actually learning a lot from people who support us directly, either with the podcasts or with the newsletters and with everything we do, and it's an excellent, fine, interesting. I think the biggest compliment that you can pay to somebody is to say to be an interesting person. And I think we should be thankful to be surrounded by a group of interesting members that help us discover things, learn things, and ultimately write and talk about more, hopefully, interesting stuff. So yeah, that's an excellent thing to be grateful for. So yeah. That's all from me in terms of my Thanksgiving quiz, and well, obviously with a focus on turkeys, because I feel like that's something I needed to know.
Yeah, you absolutely need to know about the turkeys. All right, let's go to our picks really quick. Do you have anything for me this week, Federico?
Just a quick one.
Okay.
I watched and finished. Now, are you familiar? Years ago, I recommended, I think on Unwind, an Italian TV show on Netflix called Suburra.
Oh, I think so. Is that like a police drama type
the police drama set in Rome about like the local mafia, like criminal organizations in Rome.
Yeah, I think Jennifer and I watched that, I think. She watched the whole thing. Yeah.
It ended at season 3. And no, I don't want to spoil it. It ended at season 3. They picked it up again with a sequel. Now, there was a hotly rumored until a few months ago, and it's real. So it picks up directly where Suburra left off. It's called Suburra Eterna, which is they call Rome the Eternal City. That's why.
Right.
And we watched the entire first season. Many of the same characters as the previous show. Picks up directly where season 3 of Suburra left off. And it's 8 episodes on Netflix. if you can, watch it with Italian audio and English subtitles, or if you're Italian, just to enjoy the very, very thick Roman dialect and accent. It's so well done, and it's so. I told Sylvia one night, it's like, you know what? They're so good. Like these actors, they're obviously local to the area, and it's almost like listening to my friends. Because it's so thick and very obviously from Rome and different parts of Rome. You can make it out. If you're Italian, go watch it and you'll see what I mean. If you are from an English speaking language or just abroad, watch with original audio and subtitles in your preferred language.
All right, that sounds good. I hope that the original audio is available. For some reason, I seem to recall that it was dubbed in the United States.
That's too bad.
And the dubbing was very poorly done. But I may be wrong about that, so don't rely on me for that, because it's been a long time. It's been a long time ago that Federico recommended that, and I might be thinking I might have my shows mixed up. But in any event, that sounds great. I'm going to recommend a TV show on Hulu. It's actually an FX show, and it just started recently. It's called A Murder at the End of the World. And this is kind of, think Glass Onion, really, because there is a lot in common there, where you've got a young woman who is is described in the review by The Guardian of the show as a Gen Z Sherlock Holmes. And this is a show that alternates between two storylines. One storyline is this young woman and her boyfriend who are growing up in the Midwest, and she is the daughter of a county coroner. So she's used to being in morgues and seeing dead bodies, and kind of helps her dad with his job, which is a kind of a weird way to grow up as a teenager. But she becomes very good at it, and very good at solving and figuring out how people have died. And she becomes fascinated with solving a string of murders in the Midwest of women who just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. And she finds a thread between the way they died and ultimately starts solving these mysteries. And so because of that backstory, she writes a book. And she gets the attention of a billionaire tech executive. So this is kind of, stand-in for any wealthy tech executive who's working on AI solutions, and invites a group of people who are kind of on the artistic end of things. It's got this young woman who's the sleuth, as well as like a film director, a doctor who's walked on the moon, a bunch of different people from all different kinds of interesting walks of life, but all very successful. And the whole idea is very much, I think, in a way like Glass Onion, is to have a retreat. And this happens to be in Iceland in the middle of a snowstorm at a very fancy resort, to solve some of the world's biggest problems, things like climate change. And I won't tell you what happens, but you've basically got the same kind of setup as Glass Onion, where you have a group of strangers who don't know each other, who have something loosely in common with each other, and a murder happens. And of course, this young woman who has solved a bunch of murders is there, and she sets out to solve what who was murdered and why they were murdered. And this is a limited series, so I think it's just going to be a one and done series. At least that's the idea. And it's 3 episodes in, I want to say, out of 7 or 8 that it's going to be the total. And I've only watched 2, but I really enjoyed it. It's like the scenery in Iceland is really well done. The mystery is really well done. It's not like, it doesn't go too overboard with the tech. Part of this is like, there's an AI in the hotel, and the woman is using the AI to help her find clues, and she's a bit of a hacker. She's hacking into the computer systems. There's a little bit of that where you have to kind of squint your eyes and ignore the fact that a lot of it seems a little implausible. But the mystery and the murder mystery at the heart of it is all very good. All right, Federico, that's it for this Thanksgiving edition of Mac Stories Unwind. You can find the two of us over at macstories.net. Federico is at Vitici on Mastodon. Just go to vitici.macstories.net, where you'll find a place to follow him on Mastodon, and you can go to johnvorhees.macstories.net to follow me on Mastodon. And we're on Instagram, where Federico is at Vitici. That's VITICCI, and I'm at John Voorhees. JOHNVOORHWS. Talk to you next week, Federico.
Ciao, John.